I met an alien.
He's kind of growing on me. At least he's not growing in me, you know, which was a concern for a little while.
I'm Grace. I'm gonna call you Rocky. Thumbs up. No, that's thumbs down. You do the thumbs up.
How's it going out there, YouTube land and all social media lands? Welcome to an all new video. In this video, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a couple weeks ago, and is a all new sci-fi action film with a really great small cast. So we're gonna get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video and the other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms, such as X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Patreon. I mean, pretty much post on these regularly, so definitely check them out. As always, let's get right into this. Welcome one and all to an all new video. So like I said before, we're doing a movie review of a new film that just came out a couple weeks ago. It's a new sci-fi film that is all the rage, has gotten lots of great reviews, and is just a really great film that I think is going to, go down as a great sci-fi film. And that happens to be the film called Project Hail Mary. Yeah! Project Hail Mary. Yeah! Project Hail Mary. Yeah! So just like the football term, if you're familiar with football at all, Project Hail Mary is an all-new sci-fi film based off of a book that came out a couple years ago, and is a all-new film from a great, bunch of directors and writers and a whole bunch of great people that are involved, producers, all this kind of great stuff. And this based on novel film is a really great, I think, take on the novel itself. I like that they changed a few things too and made it a little bit more family friendly. And that was one great thing about this film, is I love that it was very family friendly. It was basically made for everyone. It wasn't just, a hard sci-fi PG-13. It wasn't just like a hard or, like a soft G-rated movie, or, a hard R-rated film. It was actually, a film that everyone could see, and not get all in a bunch about certain things involved with these films. And it just was a really great film. I was really impressed with it. I wasn't sure how I was going to react to it. I liked the trailer when I first saw it come out over a year ago. And I remember, really enjoying the trailer, did my trailer reaction, all that kind of stuff, and I wasn't, going into this film like, I think I'm going to like this film, and I came out just loving this film. Everything about it was just really well done. The, cinematography, the music, the CGI effects, the storyline, the presentation of the film, everything about it was really well done. And I really enjoyed that they took their time with this film and made it really fantastic from beginning to end. And I feel like there was no lag time involved with this film at all. And I love that, even though it's quite a long film. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long. A lot of times, 2.5 hour long films can seem to drag in certain spots, but this one didn't. It actually kept you excited the whole entire film and didn't feel like one of those types of films. And I can see why all the critics are in a rage over this film and that they think it's so good. I completely agree with them this time around, because it really is a really well done film. And it actually felt like a cinematic film again. Just like Ryan Gosling has come out and said recently, he mentioned, that it's up to the studios to bring the people to the theaters, not the people to come to the theaters. And when you make a film like this, that's going to bring the people into the theaters. And I agree with that. And I think that's what this film did. It felt like a theater type of film, like going to see Top Gun Maverick a couple years ago and so forth. It's that type of film. And it just is so well constructed of a film. And I just really enjoyed everything about it. And it just really gave me a great cinematic, experience again, and made me want to go to the films, to the theaters. Now, this film happens to be directed none other by a duo that has done quite a few other great films over the last few years, and are just a great duo that have produced, directed, and all kinds of stuff in the past, and are just, I think, really work well together. And that, of course, is the duo known as Lord and Miller. Oh yeah, Lord and Miller. Woo, Lord and Miller, yeah. So, of course, Phil Lord and I believe Chris Miller both of them are just fantastic directors. I absolutely love what they bring to life, what they bring to their films. They're always really good at making films, and I don't think anything they've made I really have not enjoyed. And they did a phenomenal job with this film. I love everything they did with it. I love that they kept it light and airy. I like that they brought in a great culture to it. I love that it felt like, one of those films, where you feel happy, you feel sad, you feel for the characters, you actually feel like the characters are giving you emotion and giving you what you're looking for in a normal topical story. And I really enjoyed that they just really did a great job bringing this book to life and giving us this really great cinematic masterpiece on the big screen. And I just think that Lord and Miller did a great job of bringing what the words said in the book on onto the big screen too as well, because there were things that were altered and changed. If you have not seen the film, I recommend going to see the film before you finish this review. But there are things that at the end of the film that were altered to make it seem more precise, more entertainment or family friendly and stuff like that were a little more graphic in the book versus this. And I think that they did a great job of deciding to do that and actually have it be that way. And I think also Lord and Miller just did a great job of giving us some really great action sequences throughout this whole entire film. The suspense and the mystery and all that kind of stuff was really well done. And then their whole concept of bringing Rocky to life, which is the alien character that's in the film, just really was amazingly done too. Even though he looks a lot like like the rock creature from Galaxy Quest, as Tim Allen has referenced on X, which is hilarious. But at the same time, I mean, it looks like a rock creature, and I thought that was a really clever idea because usually we see alien creatures that look like alien, humanoids and stuff like that. We don't get very many like non-verbal, or I should say, facially constructed creatures that don't have a face or anything like that. And it was nice to see an alien creature supposedly that can communicate through sounds, but doesn't have eyes, doesn't have a face, doesn't have a mouth, can't actually articulate like a normal, humanoid alien or whatever like that. And I thought that was really cool. And also, I just think that Rocky looked amazing. I mean, the CGI work they did on him, he looks so freaking cool. Looks so awesome. I love the whole design, and I love everything about Rocky. You just absolutely fall in love with Rocky. And Lord and Miller did such a great job of making him such a great character and bringing him to life on the big screen that you absolutely love and adore that character. And just, it was a really fantastic, character. But Lord and Miller, they have directed and written so many other great films that supersedes this film and really shows that they have really good directing chops, and we can see why this film is so done so amazingly. Now, if you haven't seen anything Lord and Miller direct, definitely something to check out of theirs. It's a great film that came out in 2012 called 21 Jump Street. Yeah! 21 Jump Street. Yeah! So this great remake of the classic TV series from the 80s is absolutely dynamic. It is such a great freaking film. So funny, so hilarious, and so well directed by Lord and Miller. They just really brought to life such a great TV show and gave it some great humor, some great action, and just overall a great storyline. Bringing in Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum, Rob Riggles and all them, and stuff like that, Dave Franco, Brie Larson, just all really worked for that film, and it was just super funny. And I love that, at that time, Eminem was very popular still and all this kind of stuff, and I loved how they integrated that all into this and, gave us like this more updated version of 21 Jump Street, but kept it very comical, whereas the original series was a lot more serious. And just Lord and Miller just knew exactly what to do with that and give us this really fantastic film that just really shined their directing abilities and given us a really great comedy, but at the same time, great action comedy with some really great writing and great acting by everyone involved. And just a really well-constructed film. If you haven't seen anything Lord and Miller direct, definitely check out 21 Jump Street. They did a really phenomenal job with that. But overall, I think they did a phenomenal job with Project Hail Mary. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. I think, it's up there along the lines of, Oppenheimer and, other films like that. And I think that this film should definitely get recognition for how awesome of a film it is and how great of a job Lord and Miller did with it. If you haven't seen anything Lord and Miller directed, go check out Project Hail Mary in theaters now. He did a phenomenal job. So this movie has a really small cast. I mean, not a lot of people were involved with this film that I I was really shocked by. I was expecting a lot more people, but really it is really kind of pretty much the majority of the film is just our main star and Rocky, the rock creature. And, you know, we have a few other people that pop up here and there throughout the film, but other than that, it's really just them. And, you know, I think that makes for a great film, too, at the same time, when you have a lot less players involved, because then you can really focus on those characters and give them the story arcs they need. And I think that's what they achieved with this film. So to start us off is none other than the main character himself, you know, Mr. Scientist himself, the only survivor that makes it to the point. And that, of course, is Mr. Ryan Gosling! Oh yeah, Ryan Gosling! Woo! Ryan Gosling, yeah! So Ryan Gosling, amazing actor. You might recognize him, of course, from a slew of things over the years. You know, from Fall Guy to, many other films that he's been in. He was in, he was in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, I believe. He was in Half Nelson. He was in, many other films and stuff like that. And he's just a really fantastic actor that's always fun to watch. And he's always played characters so well, so amazingly, and just have always been really good at playing pretty much any character that he is given. And he is freaking hilarious when he does comedy. And this film, he had a mixture of all of it. And he just really rocked it. And I absolutely loved his character and thought he was such a great character and such a great story arc. And I loved what he does with the characterization. And I love that, you know, from beginning to end, you really get a full encompassing idea of who this character is, what this doctor is, and all this kind of stuff. And Ryan did such a great job of presenting that and giving us this really solid character that you really end up falling in love with and being interested in and enjoying and wanting to watch more of him. And I think that was a great job by the writing team, and I think it's a great job by the, you know, directors, you know, really helping guide Ryan to bring out the best in him, and they really did that. And Ryan did a great job of, you know, giving his all and giving a really great performance in this film. Now, if you haven't seen Ryan Gosling in anything, definitely a great film to check him out, and that I think is a masterpiece of a film. I absolutely love this film. I think it's one of his, you know, first films when he was becoming big, and I just think he does a great job in it and doesn't get enough recognition for how good he was in the film. And that, of course, film called Murder by Numbers. Yeah! Murder by Numbers. Yeah! This is an absolutely epic, great film, serial killer type of film, very similar to, you know, films like Compulsion and stuff like that. Basically, kind of, it's a reference to Leopold and Loeb. If you're not familiar with that case, it was a case that happened back, back in the 40s or 50s, I believe it was, where they tried to perfect the perfect crime. And basically, this film is kind of like a reiteration of that. Sandra Bullock stars in it, along with Ryan Gosling, and it is just an absolutely epic film, and Ryan plays such a great character. He's absolutely amazing as a serial killer character. He plays it to the T. He's so amazing. He's so grounded. He's so awesome. He just plays this character in such a way that you like him and despise him at the same time, and it just really shined his great acting talent and how good he is at acting. And I just really thought that this was a great performance that I wish had gotten more recognition for his performance, because he really was amazing in this film. Along with Michael Pitt, they worked so well together and really worked it very well. And I think that they really did a great job of just being amazing and awesome and just really worked it very well. But Ryan just really pulled it out of the park in that film and gave us a really epic performance. If you haven't seen Ryan Gosling anything, definitely check him out in Murder by Numbers. He did a phenomenal job. But overall, he was phenomenal in Project Hail Mary. I thought he was great in it. I really enjoyed him. I thought he did such a fantastic job. It was so much fun. And I thought he just did an amazing job that I think this is going to go down as another great acting, character for him. And that, we're probably going to want to see more of characters similar to this, because he just played it so well. If you haven't seen Ryan Gosling anything recently, go check him out in Project Hail Mary. He did a really phenomenal job. So that brings me to the final person I'd like to talk about that was in this movie. And that, of course, is kind of the head director of the whole science division, the person in charge of bringing Ryan Gosling in to help save the world. And that, of course, is Miss Sandra Hüller. Oh, yeah, Sandra Hüller. Woo, Sandra Hüller, yeah! So Sandra Hüller, I'm not very familiar with. This is actually the very first film I had ever seen her in. I know she's been around a little while. I know she's been in some things over the years. But other than this film, I have not seen her in anything. And I really have nothing to compare her to, for her performance in this. But from what she brought to the table in this, I thought she did a decent job. I thought that she played the character very well. I thought she played, very kind of like asshole-ish character that has to do crazy things in crazy times, and I think that overall she did a decent job bringing to life her character and just really playing that character very well. And from my understanding, from when I was looking through her filmography and stuff like that, she tends to play characters that are kind of like the bad guy-ish kind of character. She's like the one that she plays those types of characters. And it looks, from what I've seen, is a lot of people say she's really decent at playing those characters. And from, seeing her in Project Hail Mary, I thought she did a decent job. Is it the greatest performance of all time? No, I don't think so. But overall, I think that it was a good enough job for the film and didn't deter from the film and didn't do anything bad for the film. I thought she worked well off of Ryan Gosling and the other few people that, were in the film. Overall, and I think that she played the character very well. I mean, there was definitely times that you were kind of like, oh, I hate this chick right now, type of deal. And, she did a good job of bringing that and giving us that kind of, performance that you're like, I don't really care for this person, I think they're, a dick, basically. And I was really surprised at, how well she did with that. And that, from the trailer, when I watched the trailer and saw her in it, she definitely gave out that vibe, and I felt that it was nice to see that same vibe I got in the trailer was in actually throughout the whole entire film. And I think that shows a really, talented actress that, does a good job and brings to life her characters very well. And I think that, overall, she did a decent job. Now, one of the films that she's actually been in recently that was considered for Oscar, actually, and I've heard, I read and heard many things that she did a really fantastic job in the film, is a film called Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah, Anatomy of a Fall. Yeah, so I've heard that she was in this film and she did a decent job, and that she played the character very well and was, kind of a different type of role for her. And from what I saw in the reviews and stuff like that, and what I've heard, is that she was just really fantastic in it and really shined. And if that is correct, from what I saw in Project Hail Mary, I can only imagine that she probably did do a really decent job in Anatomy for a Fall. So if you haven't seen her or anything, definitely check out Anatomy Fall to see for yourself, see how that performance is. I'll definitely be checking out Anatomy for a Fall soon. It's one of those films that's been on my list to watch. I just haven't gotten around to it. But overall, I think that, Sandra did a great job of the film. I thought she was decent and enjoyable. I did at times think that she was an evil chick, that I didn't care for her, but overall I think that really plays off well and really shines her great acting ability as an actress and really helped the character and gave this really great perspective in the film. If you haven't seen Sandra Hüller or anything, check her out in Project Hail Mary. I think she did a decent job. So, honorable mentions in this film, these people popped up a few times throughout the film in flashbacks and stuff like that. Mr. Ken Leung, who is a great actor, very great character actor. He was in Rush Hour, he was in a few other films over the years, Saw and so forth, and he just always plays really great characters. I've always enjoyed him, and I did really enjoy his, brief part in this film, and I thought he did a decent job. Of course, also we have Melania Van Trub popping up in this too, as well as the other character that's supposed to be on the spaceship with Ryan Gosling and ends up passing away too, just like Ken Leung. Melania, of course, you might recognize as the AT&T girl. You might recognize her from a few things over the years, Werewolves Within and so forth. And I just want to give these two a shout out because I thought that in their scenes they were really decent too as well. Now, what is this film about? Basically, the premise of the story is all of our stars around our solar system are now dwindling out. And that's because of this supposed creature that is eating the stars and the sun alive. And basically they are destroying these things that we need for vital, light on our planet and other planets around. And basically we end up find out that there's this one particular spot that is not being eaten by these creatures, and it's up to the team to find out what that is, use it to stop them from destroying our sun so that we don't perish in 30 plus years. And that's pretty much what the film is about them traveling to this planet or this star that's not being eaten, discovering what's causing it not to be, to figure out how to use that against these evil creatures that are destroying our sun. Really well done film, really enjoyable. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Such a great film, action-packed, comedy, heart, everything you're looking for in a great film. It just was so much fun. It was so entertaining on the big screen. Absolutely loved it. Fell in love with Rocky. I thought he was such a great character, so awesome and amazing, and I just can't get enough of Rocky. I could watch that character for hours on hours on, because it just was such a great character. Just all around a really fantastic film. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up. Can't wait to add this to the collection. Really enjoyable. If you have not seen it yet, go check it out in theaters now. See it for yourself. It was absolutely epic. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, please don't forget to check out any older new videos you haven't seen mine yet. As always, people, if you really want to help support the channel, want to make it better, bigger, and awesomer for you guys, please think about checking out my Patreon page and subscribing and becoming a member, because there you get all kinds of extra accoutrement, and also that helps make this channel even better and awesomer. So I appreciate it. Huge shout out to my subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much for being a part of the channel. As always, catch you next one.